Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. Sorry everybody who's been waiting. I planned on starting at 10, but now it's just 10:15, so I really apologize for being late. I don't like to be, but got a little sidetracked, so I apologize. So I just said I would jump right into like binge eating, just talking about it, how to help with it, and especially with intuitive eating. And honestly, intuitive eating is one of the best strategies for binging in terms of making peace, slowing things down, whatever. So there's not really any magic around that. I just want to reiterate what some of the strategies that I personally use to help, that I use personally back in the binge eating days, and also just with my clients, is that you kind of have to think of things in, it's not like there's a right order and there's not a right tier, but I know when things feel like kind of chaotic around your eating, we have to get down to the bottom of, one, what role is diet culture playing in your eating? Meaning, how much do you judge yourself or berate yourself for what you're eating? And do you actually have full permission? When I say full permission, not faux permission, meaning, it's okay for me to have a donut or a cookie or whatever, but I can't really have it more than once a day, once a week, once a month, whatever the rules are. So if you've got rules about food at all, this really have to be excavated. Who says and what will happen, and really doing that unpacking about that. And yeah, so if you have beliefs, some magical thinking that like, if I have a Snickers one day a week, that's fine. But if I have a Snicker bar every day, then I'll gain weight, and then I'll be unappealing, or even if you believe that you're unappealing now, even more unappealing. Whatever your fear or your belief, worry system is about, like eating truly what you want and weight gain, then you're gonna struggle there with possibly even more binging, because it sets up this rewounding of like, I'm too much, I'm not enough, see, I can't control my food, and either we just say screw it and just kind of like get unconscious about the eating, or we go back to another diet. That's typically the seesaw that happens with diet mentality. So I would say first things first, and that totally aligns with intuitive eating. If we don't basically break up with diet culture, it makes it harder to stop binging. That's just, kind of the bottom line. I will say that compassion has to be your number one thing, your mantra, your belief system. It's hard. You don't change behaviors, you don't change anything you hate. It's just not how it works. That we have to get to a place where we might not like what we're doing with our food intake. You don't even have to love your body, but our job first is to hate everything less. Hate it less that you binged yesterday. You don't have to love your body. You don't even have to like do full-on body positivity. Many of you have heard me talk in my videos, like that didn't exist when I was in recovery. It was just like, I don't want to think about food so much. I want to be able to just have my body be what it needs to be and not be a focus. That was my goal. It wasn't like I need to love my body and go to the beach and feel good and like I don't care what people think. I just didn't want to think about the whole thing. I just want to put a swimsuit on and go. And regardless of what your body size is, I think everybody wants that, to be able to just go and be present and have fun, or whatever it is your goal is. If you can hear that, sorry, the cicadas, they are super loud. Wish you'd chill a little, but anyway, I hope you can still hear me over that. It's super loud. Anyway, distracting, for me at least. So the other part of it, so we've got to excavate diet culture. Every eating experience we need to go into some level of compassion with, like, I wonder what's going to happen here. Oh gosh, like I feel a little nauseated that I did eat, 2, a 9, or a 10. And my hunger scale goes from 0 through 10, by the way, not 1 through 10. So mine's a little different. And I count 9 and 10 as like really different levels of physical uncomfortable. But if you go to those places, we have to chalk it up to sometimes, we're just still learning how to eat. We're learning how to the food really wasn't fully okay to have for all kinds of reasons that I have emotionally or mentally for a long time. Sometimes I'm just going to do that. Sometimes I've just gotten over a day or 6 months of just slightly restricting, which is enough to make us either deprivation driven, eat or binge, to like make it up for it. Not only the physical restriction, but the emotional effort it takes to push down our needs and our wants. So there's that. And the other part of it is that it takes us a willingness to slow it down, and not only try to at least notice our physical and our physical hunger and fullness, but also our emotional state, and then also our actual, and I'll know that if you've watched my videos that I am like a total geek for the use of, like, I'm going to use a big sciencey word here, so go look it up if you don't know what it is, polyvagal theory. But essentially that's just like the different branches of our nervous system and how they work together and how they can get dysregulated, like the automatic processes of our body. And that can make everyday life feel like overwhelming or threatening. And if you're in that state, it's super hard, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, to know our hunger and fullness, and to even know what to do with ourselves. And binging might be a way that we're grounding ourselves. So there's a lot of things to navigate, which is why some people start to do intuitive eating if they are struggling with binge eating, and they keep thinking that it doesn't work. Well, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that it's not all the only piece we need. We've got to build more self-soothing. We've got to build our wider capacity to know what's safe within ourselves and our environment. We've got to be able to like build resilience of what's going on in our life, and that takes I'll be honest, that takes time, and ideally you're doing that with a person who's got integration in that in their practice, that knows how to help you much more quickly and efficiently learn how to know in your system, like, what's mine, what's yours, what's safe, and to just not be as triggered as much by life, and to feel comfortable in your own skin. Because sometimes when we don't feel uncomfortable in our own skin and it causes us to binge, that's just sometimes it's emotion, and we know what it is, and sometimes it's like past emotional sensation that we don't even know where it's coming from, and it feels like so much and overwhelming that we get really high. I call it buzzy and up and spinny, and it can't stop. My brain won't stop, or can't stop moving, and we eat to ground. And then sometimes we're like, we feel empty, but maybe also heavy, or a little bit lost and foggy, and we might eat just to feel something or feel some edges or whatever's going on. And that's a lot of the reason why things just feel kind of disconnected and out of control. And then if that happens, the habit is to blame yourself. But that's not fair, because if you weren't aware of your state in the first place, then it's not really fair to actually judge yourself for like, I didn't even know why I was eating, and it has nothing to do with willpower or lack of willpower. So that's my encouragement. If you're struggling with binge eating or any kind of circumstance that feels out of control, you really first got to look at, like, still excavating, diet culture and fat phobia and all that. Like, internalize, externalize, doing some of that work. Where you find yourself fearful of weight gain, where you find yourself fear of, like, not feeling worthy or acceptable, or fear of how you're going to handle if something happens around your body. That stuff, that's what yours is to work on. And having full permission to eat, and knowing that you're just learning. You're gonna like have some whoopsies where it's like, oh, I overshot, or oh, I went too long and no wonder I kind of swung on the other way. That's gonna happen. 2 is learning how to slow down and including compassion in that mix. And 3 is learning how to like observe your states. And if you're in a struggle with know how to do that, to navigate that on your own, then I highly recommend you get some support with that. And I do offer some self-help kind of with that, and some of like my meditations provide that. My self-paced 12-week program provides all that, where it's not just intuitive eating. It's not just intuitive eating work and body image work, and there's lots of interviews with people who aren't me, talking about their journeys and different sizes of bodies doing this work too. But around self-care and all that, plus some of the somatic work to help you learn how to like noticing the difference between being really up and really down, and what like regulation feels like. And that will help you, one, have clear signals, two, just know the difference between this is an actual physical hunger, this is that other sensory stuff that I used to mistake for either being hungry or not being hungry, but it's actually something else. I hope this video was helpful. I wanted to jump right into that, just like I think some of the big, very, very general ingredients that help people with binge eating. Of course, I always recommend getting help if you can to expedite the process. If you can't, again, keep watching these videos, with the free videos and the free and lower cost stuff I have that kind of just give you another piece of the puzzle if you're looking for it. So thank you so much and take care, and I'll talk to y'all soon. And please remember, Fridays 8:30 are Q&A day. So if you have questions, tag me anytime throughout the week. If it's a different themed kind of day and I didn't talk about what you wanted to hear about, leave me a question about that and I will include that in the Friday Q&A. So thank you so much and take care. Bye.